The city lights blurred through Emma's rain-streaked windshield as she gripped the steering wheel tighter. Her phone buzzed again. Another panicked text from Chloe. "Please, Em, I'm dying here. Literally." Emma exhaled slowly, her breath fogging the cold glass. She'd been working double shifts for 3 months straight, her hands raw from washing dishes and carrying trays. The last thing she needed was to pretend to be a professional caterer for some wealthy elite who probably wouldn't even taste the food. But Chloe was her best friend, the only one who stayed when Emma's world collapsed 2 years ago. "Fine, send me the address." The penthouse on Skyline Drive smelled like money. Marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers. Emma's second-hand black dress suddenly felt like a costume. She carried the grocery bags through the entrance, her heart hammering against her ribs. "You're not Chloe." The voice came from behind her. Deep, familiar, impossible. Emma turned slowly, and the bags slipped from her fingers. Nathaniel Cross stood in the doorway, older now, his jaw sharper, his eyes darker. The same man who'd disappeared from her life without a word. The same man who'd taken everything from her and left her with nothing but questions. "What are you doing here?" Her voice cracked. His face drained of color. "Emma? Answer me." Her hands shook. "What sick game is this?" "I didn't know." He stepped forward and she stepped back. "I swear I had no idea Wellington Elite would send you." "Stop talking." Her chest felt tight. "Just stop. Emma, please. You don't get to say my name." Tears burned her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "Not after what you did." He looked broken, lost. "I can explain." "Explain?" She laughed, bitter and sharp. "You vanished, Nathaniel. 2 years ago, no call, no text, nothing. And now you want to explain?" The silence stretched between them like a wound. "The guests arrive in 2 hours," he said quietly. "If you want to leave, I understand. But I need to tell you the truth first." Emma's hands curled into fists. "I don't want your truth. I want my life back. The one you destroyed." "I know." His voice dropped to a whisper. "And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to fix that. But right now, I need you to listen, because everything you think you know about that night is wrong." She stared at him, her heart a war drum in her chest. "You have 1 minute," she said. "Then I'm walking out that door and you'll never see me again." Nathaniel's jaw tightened. "The night I left, I was protecting you." "From what?" "From me." Emma's pulse roared in her ears. The penthouse felt too small, too suffocating. "Protecting me from you?" She shook her head. "That's the excuse you're going with?" Nathaniel moved to the window, his reflection ghostly against the city lights. "My father died that week. The week I disappeared." The air left her lungs. "He left me everything. His company, his debts, his enemies." Nathaniel's voice was hollow. "And one very specific instruction. Stay away from you." "Why?" The word came out broken. "Because you made me weak." He turned to face her, and his eyes were raw with pain. His exact words. He said loving you would destroy everything he'd built. That I had to choose, the empire or you. Emma's legs felt unsteady. "So you chose money." "I chose your safety." His voice rose. "You don't understand what kind of man my father was. What kind of world I inherited. There were people watching you, Emma. Waiting for me to make a mistake. If I stayed, they would have used you to control me. Or worse. You could have told me. And put you in more danger?" He stepped closer. "I was 25 years old, suddenly responsible for $1 billion corporation, and enemies I didn't even know existed. I panicked. I thought if I disappeared completely, they'd leave you alone." "They?" Emma's voice shook. "Who are they?" "Business rivals. Criminal networks my father was entangled with. People who don't play by normal rules." Nathaniel ran a hand through his hair. "I spent 2 years cleaning up his mess. Cutting ties, making enemies into allies. I did it all so I could come back to you without dragging you into hell." Emma wanted to scream, to throw something, to make him feel even a fraction of the pain she'd carried. "You broke me," she whispered. "I waited for months. I called. I showed up at your apartment, your office. I thought you were dead. And then I saw you on the news at some gala, smiling like nothing had ever happened." Nathaniel flinched. "That gala was a performance. Everything has been a performance. Then why now? Why tonight?" "Because I'm out." He pulled a folder from the desk drawer and handed it to her. I sold everything. The company, the assets, all of it. I'm done with that life. Emma opened the folder with trembling hands. Legal documents. Transfer of ownership. Dated 3 days ago. I tracked down Chloe's catering company, he continued. I requested her specifically. I was going to ask her how to find you. To see if you'd even want to talk to me. This is insane. Emma dropped the folder. You orchestrated all of this? I didn't know she'd send you instead. But maybe that's fate. Fate? Emma's laugh was sharp. Fate is cruel. Then be cruel back. Nathaniel's voice turned desperate. Hate me, scream at me, but don't walk away. Not again. I'm not the one who walked away. I know. He reached for her hand, and she let him take it. His touch was fire and ice. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so damn sorry. Emma looked into his eyes and saw the truth. The regret, the longing, everything she'd felt for 2 years staring back at her. The guests, she said softly. They'll be here soon. Forget the guests. I can't. Chloe needs this job. Nathaniel's grip tightened. Then let me help you cook. Let me prove I'm not the man who left you. Let me show you who I've become. Emma pulled her hand away, her heart a mess of wanting and fear. Start chopping the vegetables, she said. And don't talk unless I ask you a question. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. Yes, chef. They worked in silence, the kitchen filling with the scent of garlic and herbs. Emma's hands moved on instinct, but her mind was chaos. Every glance at Nathaniel sent a jolt through her system. Every accidental brush of their arms made her breath catch. The doorbell rang at exactly 7. That's them, Nathaniel said quietly. 12 of my father's former associates. People I need to face one last time. Emma looked up sharply. What does that mean? It means tonight isn't just dinner. His expression hardened. It's a reckoning. The dining room glittered with false smiles and expensive suits. Emma moved between the guests, serving the first course with hands that barely trembled. 12 pairs of eyes tracked her movements. Some curious, some predatory. Excellent risotto, an older man with silver hair said. Where did Wellington Elite find you? I'm filling in tonight, Emma replied, keeping her voice neutral. How fortunate for us. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Nathaniel sat at the head of the table, his posture relaxed but his jaw tight. Emma could feel the tension radiating from him like heat. Nathaniel, a woman in red spoke up. We were surprised by your invitation, after you sold Marcus's company to our competitors. I sold it to the highest bidder, Nathaniel said calmly. Business, not personal. Everything is personal in our world. The silver-haired man leaned back. Your father understood that. My father is dead. The room went silent. Emma froze near the kitchen door. Yes, the woman in red continued. Tragic accident. Though some of us wondered about the timing. Emma's blood turned cold. She looked at Nathaniel, whose face had gone dangerously still. Say what you mean, Victoria. Your father died the same week he planned to cut you from his will, the same week he discovered you'd been leaking company secrets to federal investigators. Victoria's smile was poison. Coincidence? Emma's heart stopped. She stared at Nathaniel, willing him to deny it. To say it wasn't true, he said nothing. You didn't tell her? Victoria laughed. Oh, this is delicious. Your little caterer doesn't know you're the reason your father's empire collapsed, that you betrayed your own blood. Get out. Nathaniel's voice was ice. We're not finished eating. The silver-haired man gestured to Emma. Please, continue serving. Emma's hands shook as she returned to the kitchen. Her mind raced. Nathaniel had said he was protecting her. He'd said he cleaned up his father's mess, but he'd never said he destroyed him. She heard footsteps behind her. Emma. Nathaniel's voice was rough. Don't. She kept her back to him. Don't say my name. I had to do it. My father was laundering money for criminals. He was hurting people. I couldn't just walk away and pretend I didn't know. So you killed him? She spun around, tears streaming down her face. No. Nathaniel grabbed her shoulders. I turned him in. The stress of the investigation killed him. His heart gave out. And you think that makes it better? Emma shoved him away. You think that absolves you? I think it makes me the man you deserve instead of the monster he was raising me to be. I don't even know who you are. Yes, you do. He stepped closer. You knew me before any of this. Before the money and the lies. You knew the real me, Emma's chest heaved. The real you abandoned me. The real me loved you too much to let you get destroyed by my family's poison. A crash echoed from the dining room. Shouting. Glass shattering. Nathaniel's face went white. Stay here. What's happening? Something's wrong. He started toward the dining room, then stopped. Emma, no matter what happens tonight, I need you to know I never lied about loving you. Nathaniel. But he was already gone. Emma followed, her heart in her throat. The dining room was chaos. Guests were standing, some backing toward the exits, others surrounding the silver-haired man who'd collapsed on the floor. Call an ambulance, someone screamed. Victoria pointed at Nathaniel, her face twisted with rage. You did this. You poisoned him. That's insane, Nathaniel shot back. Is it? Victoria turned to Emma. You prepared the food. Who hired you? Who gave you the ingredients? Emma's blood ran cold. All eyes turned to her. I didn't poison anyone, she said, her voice shaking. Then why is Marcus dying? Victoria pulled out her phone. I'm calling the police. Both of you stay exactly where you are. Nathaniel's eyes met Emma's across the room. In them she saw terror. Not for himself, but for her. It was me, Nathaniel said suddenly. I did it. Emma had nothing to do with this. No? Emma gasped. That's not true. Yes, it is. Nathaniel's voice was steady now, resigned. I poisoned Marcus. Emma is innocent, the room erupted. Guests shouting. Sirens wailing in the distance. And Emma, standing frozen, watching the man she'd once loved sacrifice himself for her, again. The police separated them immediately. Emma sat in the penthouse living room, wrapped in a blanket she didn't need, watching officers swarm the dining room. Through the chaos, she caught glimpses of Nathaniel being questioned, his face unreadable. Ms. Rodriguez, a detective sat across from her, middle-aged, tired eyes. Walk me through everything. From the beginning, Emma told the truth. All of it. Chloe's emergency. The ingredients delivered to her apartment. Her arrival at the penthouse. Finding Nathaniel. You have history with Mr. Cross, the detective said. It wasn't a question. 2 years ago, we were together. Then he vanished. And tonight you just happened to be the caterer? I was filling in for my friend. The detective leaned forward. Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Cross has confessed to poisoning Marcus Reeves. But the interesting thing is, our preliminary tests show the poison was in Mr. Reeves's wine glass, not the food. Wine he brought himself. Emma's breath caught. Then Nathaniel didn't do it. No, but he's claiming he did. Which makes me wonder what he's protecting you from. I didn't poison anyone. I believe you. The detective stood. But someone in that room is lying. And until we figure out who, neither of you are going anywhere. Hours crawled by. Emma sat alone, her mind replaying every moment. Nathaniel's confession, his willingness to take the blame, the way he'd looked at her, like she was the only thing in the world worth saving. The detective returned near midnight. Marcus Reeves is going to survive. Turns out the dose wasn't fatal, just enough to make him violently ill. He's conscious now, and talking. Emma stood. What did he say? He says Victoria Haynes poisoned him. Claims she's been embezzling from his accounts for years, and he was planning to expose her tonight. She panicked. The pieces fell into place. Victoria's accusations, her rage, the way she'd immediately pointed fingers. Where's Nathaniel? Emma demanded. Being released. We're bringing Victoria in for questioning. The detective paused. Mr. Cross is free to go. So are you. Emma found Nathaniel on the balcony, staring out at the city. His shirt was wrinkled, his hair a mess. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in one night. You confessed to a crime you didn't commit, she said. He didn't turn. I would have done time for it too, if it meant keeping you safe. That's not love, Nathaniel. That's self-destruction. Maybe they're the same thing. He finally looked at her and his eyes were haunted. Everything I touch turns to ash. My father. The company, you. I ruin everything. Stop. Emma moved closer. You didn't ruin me. Life did. Circumstances did. But not you. I left you. To protect me. I understand that now. I don't forgive it yet, but I understand. Nathaniel's jaw tightened. What happens now? Emma's heart hammered. She'd spent 2 years hating him. 2 years building walls. And in one night, he'd torn them all down. Tell me what you want, she whispered. The truth this time. I want you, his voice cracked. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to make you breakfast and listen to you talk about your restaurant dreams. I want to be the man who deserves you, even though I'm not sure that man exists. He does. Emma reached for his hand. He's standing right here, scared and broken and trying so damn hard to do the right thing. Nathaniel pulled her close, his forehead pressing against hers. I'm still a mess, Emma. I'm still carrying my father's ghosts. Then let me help you carry them. His kiss was desperate and soft, tasting of regret and hope. Emma melted into him, her hands fisting in his shirt, 2 years of longing pouring into that single moment. When they broke apart, both breathless, Nathaniel cupped her face. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve you. Good thing I'm not asking for permission. Emma smiled through tears. I'm choosing you anyway. They stood on the balcony as the city lights flickered below, 2 broken people learning how to be whole again. I sold everything, Nathaniel said softly. No more empire, no more enemies, just me. Is that enough? It's more than enough. Emma laced her fingers with his. But I have one condition. Anything. You help me open my restaurant. As a partner. Equal stakes. Nathaniel's smile was genuine for the first time all night. Deal. They sealed it with another kiss, slower this time, filled with promise. The night had been chaos, but morning would bring clarity. Together, they could build something new from the ashes of their past. Emma, Nathaniel whispered against her lips. There's something else you need to know. Her stomach dropped. What? The money from the company sale. I donated most of it, to the victims of my father's crimes. To make amends. He swallowed hard. I kept enough for us to start your restaurant. But I'm not wealthy anymore. Not like before. Emma pulled back, searching his face. And you're telling me this because? Because I need you to know what you're getting into. I'm not the billionaire you met 2 years ago. I'm just a man trying to start over. Emma laughed, the sound bright and real. Nathaniel Cross. I fell in love with a broke college student who made me dinner in his dorm room. Money was never why I loved you. Relief flooded his face. Then we're really doing this? We're really doing this. But as they turned to go inside, Emma saw something that made her blood freeze. On the table near the door was the folder Nathaniel had shown her earlier. The company transfer documents, except now tucked inside was another paper. One she hadn't seen before. A life insurance policy, with her name on it, dated 3 days ago. Emma's hands trembled as she held the policy. $2 million. Beneficiary, Emma Rodriguez. Effective immediately. What is this? Her voice was barely a whisper. Nathaniel froze. Emma, I can explain. You took out a life insurance policy on me. She backed away, the document crushing in her grip. 3 days ago, before you even knew if I'd see you again. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Her voice rose. Tell me why you'd do this. Nathaniel ran his hands through his hair, his face anguished. Because I'm dying, the world tilted. Emma gripped the table to stay upright. What? 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with a genetic heart condition, the same one that killed my father. His voice cracked. The doctors give me a year, maybe less. Emma couldn't breathe. No, you're lying. I wish I was. He pulled out his phone, showing her medical records. Hospital visits, prescriptions, a death sentence in clinical terms. Why didn't you tell me? Tears streamed down her face. Because I didn't know if I'd ever see you again. Because I spent 6 months getting my affairs in order, making sure everyone I'd hurt was compensated. And then I realized the person I'd hurt most was you. He stepped closer. The life insurance is my safety net. If something happens to me, you'll be protected. You'll have enough to open your restaurant, to build the life you always wanted. I don't want your money. Emma's voice broke. I want you alive. I know. Nathaniel pulled her into his arms. and she collapsed against him, sobbing. "I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all of it." They sank to the floor together, holding each other as the weight of it all crashed down. Emma's mind raced. This explained everything. The urgency, the confession tonight. He'd been willing to go to prison because he was running out of time anyway. "How long have you known?" she asked against his chest. 6 months. Right after I sold the company. And you spent that time tracking me down. I spent that time trying to deserve you one last time. His hand stroked her hair. Even if it's only for a little while. Emma pulled back, looking into his eyes. "A year isn't enough." "I know. It's not fair. Nothing about this is fair." "Then we make it count." Emma's voice hardened with determination. "Every single day. No more secrets. No more running." Nathaniel's smile was sad and beautiful. "You want to spend my last year with me? After everything? I want to spend every second I can with you. Because you're right. We were fate. We were always fate." She kissed him softly. "And I'm not letting fate win this time." They spent the next 3 weeks inseparable. Nathaniel helped Emma quit her jobs. They found a small restaurant space downtown. Nothing fancy, but perfect. Together they painted walls, chose menus, and dreamed bigger than either had dared in years. "What should we call it?" Nathaniel asked one evening as they stood in their empty restaurant. Emma looked at him, at the man who'd broken her heart and pieced it back together. "Second chances." Perfect. But fate is never satisfied with happy endings. 2 months after opening night, Nathaniel collapsed in the kitchen. Emma rode with him in the ambulance, her hand gripping his, refusing to let go. The doctors spoke in hushed tones. Faster progression than expected. Weeks, not months. "I'm not ready," Emma whispered in the hospital room that night. "Neither am I." Nathaniel's voice was weak but steady. "But I don't regret a single moment. These last 2 months with you have been worth a lifetime. Don't talk like that. You're going to fight this." "Emma." He squeezed her hand. "I've been fighting my whole life. Maybe it's time to rest." "No." She pressed her forehead to his. "We have plans. We have dreams. You don't get to leave me again?" "I'm not leaving. I'm just going ahead. You'll catch up eventually." They cried together. They laughed about ridiculous memories. They made promises neither could keep. 3 weeks later, Nathaniel Cross died with Emma holding his hand, and the sunset painting the hospital room gold. Emma scattered his ashes from the penthouse balcony where they'd first reconnected. As the wind carried him away, she whispered, "Thank you for coming back, for loving me, for showing me that broken things can be beautiful." She used the life insurance money exactly as he'd wanted. Second Chances became the most beloved restaurant in the city. On the wall behind the bar, Emma hung a single photograph. Her and Nathaniel, laughing in their empty restaurant, covered in paint, looking at each other like they'd just discovered the universe. Customers asked about it sometimes. Emma would smile and say, "That's the man who taught me that love isn't about how much time you have. It's about what you do with the time you're given." 5 years later, Emma stood in her restaurant kitchen, training a new sous chef. The evening rush was starting. The scent of roasted garlic and fresh bread filled the air. She touched the simple silver necklace Nathaniel had given her, carrying his memory like a prayer. "Chef?" The sous chef looked nervous. "Is it always this intense?" Emma smiled, thinking about dinner parties and poisoned wine and the way Nathaniel had looked at her across a kitchen counter like she was the only thing that mattered. "Always," she said, "but that's what makes it worth it." That night, after closing, Emma wrote in the journal she'd kept since Nathaniel died. On the last page, she wrote, "You gave me a year, but you gave me so much more than that. You gave me courage. You gave me purpose. You gave me proof that second chances are real, and every day I wake up and choose to live the life we dreamed about together. Every day I make sure your sacrifice meant something. Every day I love you more than the day before. Until we meet again, my love. Until fate brings us back together. Forever yours, Emma." She closed the journal, turned off the lights, locked the door to Second Chances, and walked into the night, carrying his love like a torch against the dark. The end.